Hey, it kind of went fast. Hello, one, hello, all. Welcome to the. Peter's telling me this is not the first episode of 2017, but yeah, we're going to do a little catch up, mostly because if you check Facebook groups, the movie snob world is aflutter due to unsuccessful weekend that was from DC. Oh, we're joined by Lindsey. Lindsey's not always with us as far as show business is concerned. Lindsey of My Two Cents of Nonsense. Lindsey, say hi.
I will not say hi.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm the antisocial one here.
Oh, I beg to differ.
No, but thank you for having me. Seriously.
If you take that role, what's CP going to do?
And joining us, as always, is Peter. Peter.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, the bearded movie guy. Excuse me. I didn't mean to.
That's okay.
To not call you by your channel name. That's quite.
Just don't call me Shirley, and we'll be fine.
All right.
Damn
so
you, Charles.
Yeah. Touche. So this is the imaging question that John Campia put up, and he said that there's, it's disappointing. I'm paraphrasing something like it's disappointing, but at $96 million, I mean, I get it. It's a big budget movie. It's November though. Every one of those movies above it, Wonder Woman 103, that came out in June. Batman vs Superman, that's the big one that came out. I want to say March.
It's March
25th. Yeah.
Right. Suicide Squad was August. Man of Steel was June. Justice League, it's November. It's not Thanksgiving weekend, which usually is the big one. So I mean, it's $7 million less than Wonder Woman, and John Campia is setting the DC world on fire with his image, which again, of course, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
96 million. Is it that big a disaster? I guess is my question.
Well, what's interesting to me is like when they're reporting this 96 million, they're ignoring the fact that worldwide the movie's already made 250 million.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Well,
yeah. I'm being sarcastic. I know what you're saying.
Like, I mean, it almost makes it seem like it doesn't matter, but it does. Like, it's 50 million away from making back its production budget. Like, it needs another 300 million to make back its advertising budget too.
Right.
Right. So honestly, this movie needs in the 600 to 700 range before it's broken even. Right. But it's a decent start.
Right. It's a disaster, and it made 26 million less than Thor did. So I don't know what disaster. Like, yeah. I get it. I think part of it is, I mean, how often did you see Superman in the advertisement too? Like, I mean, Joe Sixpack might be like, yeah, I don't care about that red guy and so and so. Like, if you got to think about what the average American viewer is looking at, they don't know that there was two directors, that there was a bunch of production nonsense in the background. So 96 million. I wouldn't call it a disaster. Go ahead, Peter.
What has made, like, November releases what are some big November releases we can
Twilight made 70 million, and that thing spawned a disaster of sequels. Twilight made 70 million.
Like,
I love how quickly you jumped on that. You're like, Twilight.
Yeah. Other than Twilight, which was fueled by a lot of teenage girls who will go see movies multiple times, right? Like, one of the reasons I hated Titanic and have never seen it was I worked in a bookstore at the time. Yeah, I've never seen Titanic. I worked in a bookstore at the time, and I'd have these 13-year-old girls coming in, and they'd be buying books and like promotional stuff from the store, and like all about Titanic, and they'd be like, how many times have you seen it? I've seen it 17. I'm going to see it again today. And I was just like, I hate this freaking movie. And it's just and it knocked off Star Wars, and I was just like, yep, I hate the movie. It's like, and so I've just never seen it. It's probably a fine film. I have no clue. I don't really care. But certain people will go see movies multiple times, and teenage girls are one of them, right? Like, they will jump on that bandwagon. So Twilight, I'm sure, made a lot of that bank off of girls seeing it multiple times. Mm-hmm. What other November movies do big? Is the question, really?
Not since like Toy Story.
Yeah.
Toy Story. I mean, this is back when I worked at the theater. I remember Toy Story. Like, that would do like 100. Like, November is not a 180 month. At least it hasn't been. I don't know. Is Justice League a success? No, but is 96 million a disaster? I wouldn't call it that either. It's been 3 days.
Well, here's something that's interesting. Big Hero 6 was a November release with a $165 million budget, and its opening weekend it only got 56 million.
Yeah, I think Moana did something like that too last year. So
Moana. Yeah. Or Moana, how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Mo-A-N-A.
No, that's inappropriate because she's underage, so no jokes, okay? But yeah, I don't know. Like it seems like they want to be gloom and doomy. Like, and I get it. It's easy to be gloom and doomy about it. It's DC. They've been struggling since the beginning. But I don't know. Like, even if we only go by 96 million, that's still a third of its budget.
Right.
Well, I mean, I guess, but that's not counting advertising. Okay, so that's not great. But
yeah, but just the actual advertising
yeah.
is completely different. That's a different section of the company.
Right.
It's like whatever they choose to spend on advertising is their choice. But no, I don't. There seems to be a thing with critics talking about how bad they don't like movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got a dog barking, so you guys talking.
Okay. Well, yeah. To kind of pivot from what you were trying to say, Peter, Blade Runner, brilliant movie. Nobody fucking saw it in America. But nobody's complaining about that. So I think it's just a part of the zeitgeist that, maybe because we're in the community of movie snobs and movie nerds, that's like, this is the big news. Let's get all jacked up about it. But it's a popcorn movie. It's a popcorn movie, and people went to see it. There's other shit to do. I don't think, like, I guess the test is Star Wars in December. Does Star Wars crack 200 million in December? And if it doesn't, then it's like, okay, you know what? People are tired of movies, or people are just doing other shit.
It's the thing, right? Like this is the year that movies have been worst. Like I don't know about America, but in Canada, for all of, I want to say September and August, we have like Tuesday pricing. So Tuesday pricing is cheap. Like it's like $11 for go see a movie normally. And then on Tuesday it's like under $6. And so like in the summertime, a lot, like we'll often go see movies on Tuesday. They did, for the end of August and September, they did Tuesday pricing all the time.
Oh shit!
Because they were desperate to get people in the theater, so they were like, "Screw it, $6, come see the movie." And it's just like, including brand new movies for like those, because like there was nothing major coming out right at that point. Anyways, so they're just like, "Crap, we need people in the seats."
Well, Baby Driver and Wonder Woman both got a small re-release in August. I mean, they didn't really advertise it, but it was back out in theaters again for a decent chunk there, like because nothing else was showing. So why not?
It has not been a good year for movies. Like it's been one of the lowest years ever for box office.
I'm looking right now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 $200 million weekends, and they're both back to back. One's because Beauty and the Beast, and that was in March. That was a monster, and the other is the July 4th weekend and the subsequent weekend after that. I mean,
what was July 4th weekend?
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Disney.
Disney.
Right. And the weekend of Fate of the Furious, 168, 189 for the weekend of Logan. That's gross. That's every movie in America. That's not just Logan.
Yeah, it's not just Logan.
Yeah, so
there were a lot of disappointments this year, like Transformers thank God, Transformers underperformed. What was it you just said a second ago? Fast and the Furious again, underperformed. But those are two like major tentpoles that technically they should be too big to fail.
Right.
Kind of fails.
Right, and the entire weekend that Thor opened, Thor Ragnarok, 167. That's every theater. That's every movie in the theater made 167.
Wow.
So, like with that, 90 or how much was it? 90-something million or 80?
96.
What? 96.
96.
Does 96 seem like that big of a problem if like all the movies combined are only making 160? It's like, and this is November. Like, This is not a time where people go see movies in droves. That was in the summer. If you also take into account, number one, superhero fatigue. People are getting tired of this. Like,
no, there's no such thing as superhero fatigue. Ask Dennis.
I totally.
It's just me. I'm the only one.
I'll ask Dennis. I want to know how much a Blu-ray cost in Denmark.
Dude, he'll know that way better too.
Yeah.
Coke, if you're watching.
But
I'm drinking Coca-Cola.
No,
soda, because that's
sponsor us.
But hold on, just for Lindsey, because he enjoyed this the one time so much.
Oh, what do you got? Oh, Canada Dry! Because it's not actually dry up there.
It's ironic in many ways. But yeah, I'm going to say there's superhero fatigue. There is. I think there is. Movies aren't making as much right now. People are tired. They're not going to the theater. It's the worst box office for the whole year for the history of movies, as far as I was told.
Wow, really?
The fact that this movie didn't break 100, it made 96, and they're like, oh, it's like I heard people, well, if they make another one, I'm like, they're gonna make another one. It's like
the thing is,
I guess we tried. We'll give up now.
The dynamic has changed too. Like you were talking about Titanic before. You don't see these movies that are like in first place for 2 months straight. It's like they need to make their money in 2 weeks, and that's it. Like they're first for a week, maybe second the next week, and then you never hear from them. Like the dynamic has just changed because I can't put my finger on it. It'd be interesting to have my old job now, because I used to have to work marketing and predict the, forecast what we needed. And I don't know, that job seems a lot harder now because the calendar just doesn't make sense anymore. Like January, February, you'd be like, all right, well,
crappy horror.
It's going to be dog shit. Yeah, it's crappy horror movies, some weird remake that people aren't sure about. But now it's just, Deadpool came out in February.
Yeah,
right.
And that just beat the shit out of everybody. So, like, it's just, I don't think we're going to have very many $200 million movies anymore. Granted, that's kind of a big deal. But by inflation, we should be seeing that a bit more.
Yeah, we should be.
Well, I think the wave of the future is going to be more like the Blumhouse model, or like, what's that studio called that churned out like 20 movies last year? The
A24?
No, A24 is good. I love A24.
A24 doesn't miss.
Yeah, no, the bad A24. Like Edge of 17, The Space Between Us, Free State of Jones. Like, you know what studio I'm talking about now?
Yeah, yes.
I love 17, but those other ones not so much.
But I like that one. Like, I'm not saying they're all bad, but it's just they just churn them out kind of. Instead of like Blumhouse where they just churn out horror movies, they just kind of churn out movies in multiple genres.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name.
But I think that's a good model to go by. So instead of releasing like one or two $200 million movies, you release like $55 million movies, and you only need like 1 or 2 hits, and you're good.
Right. And you don't need to come in first place for a weekend. So
exactly.
Dennis corrected me. He never said it was just me, but there was still way more that still like superhero movies than not. Yeah, I'm not saying people don't like superhero movies.
I like superhero movies, but I'm fatigued.
Yeah, dude, chill. like seriously, Thor.
I got a Batman tattoo.
2 weeks later. Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to happen with Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but Last Jedi looks awesome. Yes, I'm excited. But
like the next 5 years, hypothetically, we're getting at least one Star Wars movie per year.
Yeah.
For the next 5 years, it's just like,
well, wait till they start like splitting it and doing it like every 6 months, and then it's just like, all right, guys, we get it.
Because you're
galaxy far, far away. I get it.
Star Wars was nice and spread out at one point.
Yeah, 20 years or so.
Every Christmas, we have to own it.
Well, I mean, that's what's been an interesting. Oh, by the way, it's STX Entertainment was the name of the studio.
Is that really? Okay.
Yeah, like they did like The Circle, The Bye Bye Man, Desierto, Bad Moms, Bad Moms 2, The Boy, all those.
The Circle and Bye Bye Man.
Oh, I know, right?
I've heard everyone say Bye Bye Man was terrible. I was like, okay, I'm not even going to even try it.
Yeah. I fell asleep during it. It's one of the few movies I've actually fallen asleep in theaters during. Okay, so like releasing everything like so frequently. It's become this weird thing. It's like movies are assembly lines now, and hitting specific dates and specific releases is almost as important, if not more important, than your movies being good. Because like just look at Justice League. They started shooting it 17 days after Batman v Superman came out. They should have changed the release date so that they could make all these changes that they wanted without like releasing the movie that they did. Yeah. But they refused, and now here we are. I mean, and again, the movie's fine, but it could have been better if they had a little more time, you know? But they didn't.
Yeah, you know what? They even so remind me to talk about Lee's point about it, but they should have, because they altered their release date when Civil War, BBS, they altered their release date when Civil War started doing something.
Yes.
The second there was a trailer for Thor Ragnarok and it had that Guardians vibe, they should have been like, get the fuck away from that release date. We need to, like 2 weeks later, it's just too soon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess you don't want to like release Justice League in January. You might as well just shoot the movie in the head at that point.
Yeah.
But, you know,
well, I mean, even 1 week, Thanksgiving weekend, everybody's off. Everybody wants. I mean,
the reason I heard they didn't want to do that is because then it's too close to Star Wars, and then
maybe
it's 1 week.
Yeah, that's 1 week of being. It's 4 weeks of being in theaters before Star Wars. Once Star Wars hits, no one's going to see anything else. Is the general thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like once Star Wars hits, you've lost a week. If you like, so if you go 1 week later, now you're only 3 weeks in there, and that fourth week is a write-off completely because no one's going to see your movie unless they already seen it and they love it and want to go see it again because they know it's going to be empty theater and they're like, wow, I can go see it by myself.
See, my mentality is you take the 4-day weekend. People aren't going to go to the movies on Thanksgiving. Well, maybe at night. But you take that full Friday.
Yeah.
And then if these numbers are so important, which apparently they are, you pad that weekend by releasing it.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. I don't know. Maybe the Wednesday before. I don't like. It doesn't make sense to me, especially considering what's coming out. That Denzel movie's coming out this week, right?
Oh.
That's the big one, Esquire.
Oh yeah, the lawyer movie. Yeah.
Watch me miss that. Like, oh no, CP, they pushed up Star Wars. That's what's coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing
surprise release Star Wars a month early. For the record, that would be amazing, and people would leave work and run to the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Stimulation. That's exactly it. So Lee asked earlier. He said about it.
Hello, Lee.
Hi, Lee. Lee's joining us in the chat. He says it was the exception, wasn't it? Number one for a bit, and I would agree with you. I think a lot of people would say, Lee, that it is probably the movie of the year, especially surprise and what it brought in. But 2 weekends, it was number one.
Oh shit!
The 8th, September 8th and 10th, September 15th and 17th, and then Kingsman 2 the week after that.
Okay. Yeah.
Still, that's
it.
Yeah.
As far as consecutive weeks is concerned, it's just Beauty and the Beast was a giant 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it. Split 3 weeks. Wow, Split 3 weeks. That's the weekend winner for the year.
Damn, okay. I didn't get out. Really Split? Like I guess it's M. Night.
Hitman's Bodyguard had 3 weeks. So the old trick seems to still work. You release something that's okay-ish in August.
Yeah.
That used to be that was Bourne month. Every time Bourne came out, it was August, and they'd scoop up a couple of 2 or 3 weekends in a row just because nobody else was releasing anything in August.
Interesting.
I don't know. So yeah, to further prove my point, it's different now. It was a giant success, but it only was first for 2 weeks. So things are different.
Well, what's interesting is like I mean, maybe I'm wrong in this, but like I didn't used to notice like people talk about like box office drop off week to week. Mm-hmm. Like again, I could be wrong about that, but then like in the last year or so, that has
you're on the show where we did.
okay, fair enough. But like it seems like it's coming up more and more, like how much a movie does fall in between weekends, because it seems like the fall is sharper than it used to be.
Yeah. It's like opening weekend or nothing. It seems like now.
Yeah. Because like, you're going to make 100 million this weekend, but next weekend you're going to make 20.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
80 million drop off? Really? It's like that much, but which is for me interesting with Justice League because I think it might have suffered from the fact of naysayers and the fact that people had heard that it had production problems. Blah, blah, blah. I think there might have been enough positive buzz, maybe, that it might interest more people the second weekend out, that they might go see it the second weekend just to be like, okay, this guy says it sucks, but this guy says it's really good. Let's go decide, because it's like I wasn't gonna go see it, but might as well just there's nothing. What else is out? Like, what if nothing else major is out? I could see it making some okay bank this weekend coming.
Yeah, I'm checking what comes out this week. I don't think there is. I think CP is right. I think it's just the Esquire movie.
Yeah, which looks adorably.
Oh yeah.
But that
okay. Yeah.
Coco.
It looks
Coco
like it's
coming.
okay movie.
Oh, the Pixar movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Coco. Yeah.
All right. All right. So the Pixar on Thanksgiving trend seems to still be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Justice League against Coco. I mean, I guess.
Well,
that accentuates the point even further. You only have 1 week. If you're Warner and you're trying to capitalize on, all right, quick, we got to get as much money as possible because Star Wars. Then this Pixar just doesn't miss. So why would you do it 1 week before that and only like?
All right, so when are you going to change it? You're going to change it to a week right after Thor?
I don't know. I don't know.
With Coco?
All right, so
2 weeks before Star Wars.
What's most important, opening weekend or longevity?
Oh, right now, opening weekend.
All right, so I skip in front of Thor. I go to October.
Was it ready though? Because people already complained about
this. That's a legit question, actually.
Yeah, apples and oranges.
Guy did not bother me. Like the thing that bothered me most was, and even my daughters and wife noticed, they're like, was there something wrong with Superman's face?
I've seen an image where it looks like.
Yeah, especially in that very first scene in the movie. I don't know how many reshoots he did, but I'm guessing that first scene. There's a first scene in the movie where he's being interviewed by kids. Mm-hmm. He's like just done something, and these kids are interviewing him for their blog or something, and his face just doesn't look right. And clearly, something wrong with Superman's face, and it's just like, I don't know what to do with that.
What's funny is I really liked that scene. It was really cute. But and I even like the ending of it, like the note that it ends on. But like the fact that it ends with Superman just kind of staring off, so you have nothing to look at but his lip. It was this is an unfortunate choice.
Yeah, I was like, maybe look a little bit of this next time. It's like, but yeah, they literally he gives it a big up there. Look at that. And I don't know how much of it was reshot with that. Like, that was the most noticeable part for me with him.
Right. I think that was the only one I noticed too, but I have a feeling like a lot of the third act was reshot. Like, because all maybe we shouldn't get into spoilers. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like when Superman just beheaded Steppenwolf. That was awesome.
I know, right? And then Chewbacca kicked down a wall with a porn. It was like, like it was amazing. But
wait, when's Ready Player One coming?
Not until next year.
Yeah, next December.
Really?
Is it next December? Wow. Okay.
Or is it not next December? I know it's 2018, but I could be wrong about December.
Hey, Lindsay, I see that you have Ready Player One on your shelf.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Creeper.
Are you as nervous about that movie as I am?
Okay, like when I saw the trailer for that movie, I was so on board for the first minute and a half. Like I was spellbound. So you know what I'm about to say, but then like the fucking race starts. What? Right? Like I've never had emotional whiplash in so sharp in just 2 minutes of my life. It was incredible. But it's Spielberg, so I'm excited as all hell. Like the shot of the Iron Giant was beautiful.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then like Freddy getting shot by that weird orc thing, like that was amazing.
Yeah, that was apparently H. Yeah, like
that makes sense. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Anyways, if you don't know CP, like the first half of the trailer is pretty much the movie that we would expect, and then they do this race thing, Have you seen the
I've read the book. I've listened to the book.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you listened to it. Oh,
So
okay.
you've seen the trailer?
Yes, yes to everything. I've read the book and seen the trailer.
I actually did read the book and then listen to the book. Yeah,
I don't know why we're doing this, but
I don't know.
Look, guys, just roll with it. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen here? Okay?
I got into a debate with someone if like they're like, I've read the book and I was like, oh, what'd you think? And they were telling me, well, I listened to it a lot while I was on my car. And I'm like, that's not reading.
It's reading with the ears.
Yeah, it's like it's not really reading, but I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. I'm kind of hearing it that way, but yeah, hold on one second. No, get out and shut the door.
It's funny. It's actually they did an open call for that movie, and so I read the book as just like I just wanted to read a few pages to get a feel for it before I submitted my video, but I couldn't put it down. I submitted my audition almost too late because I couldn't stop reading the book. Like,
nice,
right? And obviously I got cast in it, and I'm the star in the lead. So,
wow.
Yeah, no one's supposed to know that. Don't tell
That
me.
would be really funny. It's just like, oh, by the way, I'm in it. I didn't mention it.
I'm Ursula Joy. Like,
but yeah, the trailer for that, the race started. And I was like, what is this? I don't, because I'm like, I've read the book, I've listened to the book, whatever you want to say, and I'm like, how are they going to fit that into one movie? And then all of a sudden, there's a race that didn't happen, and I was like, well, that looks like it's going to take up 20 minutes at least.
Yeah, I hope it's just a quick thing in the beginning and not like a pod race sequence.
Yeah, where it's like,
but I'm worried it's getting a pod race sequence.
I'm just like, oh man, so it worries me. But yeah, that's not so much box office, but you know,
it kind of reminds me. There was a bit of news that happened a while ago, in between when we last spoke, Peter, that China, which is a big market now, I mean. A lot of focus is, well, if it doesn't work in America, fuck it. China will scoop it up. China told a number of production companies to start making better movies, or they don't want them to.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm dead serious. I don't remember which. It might have been Universal. If it's not, I apologize. But China outright said, because they can only take, I think, 25. It's a small number. So
I believe is the number.
They can't take one American film a week, so they're like, make it count, or otherwise we're not gonna take it.
I think you're right about it being Universal. I think you're right, by the way, because there was a thing like Universal lost a huge contract with China or something like that. So basically, Universal, like, they have no distributing partnerships on any of their movies now. So or maybe it's not distributing, maybe that's the wrong word, but like basically Universal has to pay for everything out of pocket now. Because they lost a backing for all their movies, which is fine. You know, it's Universal.
That's right. That's part of it too. China basically said China's been contributing a lot.
Yeah,
too.
giving money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you watched Independence Day 2, you'd realize a really bizarre Chinese influence. But
yeah,
what you talking about?
So yeah, if China is saying make better movies and they just need pictures and sounds. So
yeah,
racist. They need pictures and sound.
Right.
It's one of the things, right? Like they want movies that are good, but they also want movies that are easy to understand, regardless if you know the language or not.
Right.
Like, how many Asian films have I watched or you watched that have martial arts in them? You're like, I have no clue what's going on, but that guy's kicking that guy's ass really good.
Yeah.
And it's just, you can fully embrace the movie, even not knowing what exactly the person's saying. So you can get away with that in certain movies like Transformers and stuff. Like, you're never going to sell Quentin Tarantino movies to the Chinese. It's just like 45 minutes of people sitting there talking to each other, which is riveting if you know what they're saying, but nothing else is happening. And it's just like, they're not going to be like, what's he saying about a cheeseburger? I don't understand.
See, I'm going to be quite insulting to somebody about what I'm saying, but you have to keep in mind that at least in America, we're making movies for 50% of people that took Donald Trump at face value and said, yeah, no, that's going to be my president.
Yeah.
So, you know, we get.
I hear he's doing good stuff though. I don't know.
Oh, he's grabbing America by the pussy. Don't worry.
They let you do it too.
Yeah. When president, you know it.
Yeah.
I like your South Park voice for Donald Trump. When you're president, they'll let you do it.
But yeah, I mean, are Americans perceived as that stupid? Like, can we?
I lived in Denmark the last year. Like,
well, you know what? Dennis and we saw Baby Driver alone. So, and everybody was in on Despicable Me 3. So I don't know. Literally, we had the whole theater to ourselves. Opening day.
He's too busy watching Ice Cream Truck.
Oh.
yes.
Hey Lee, love you. You're still watching.
What was I saying? Yeah. So America, we're getting these watered down. I mean, Blade Runner missed.
Yeah.
And
so good though.
Really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's a movie that like, it kind of bothers me if somebody says, "Oh, I kind of wanted to see that." It's like, you need to see that in a theater.
Yeah.
Like that's what those big screens and sound systems are for. Like, that movie deserves to be seen.
Right. I saw 2 movies in IMAX this year: Blade Runner and Justice League. Like, yeah.
Was Justice League worth it?
It was cool. Yeah, I liked it. I saw it at the Chinese TLC theater in Hollywood. Like, it was pretty cool. Yeah. Big old fancy stuff.
I saw Justice League in IMAX for the first time, but I wasn't paying for it, so it didn't matter.
No, yeah, go for it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can there be an original idea that could be successful? I guess is a question I'm asking, because
certain movies this year I thought were really freaking good, and they probably I'm thinking they made back their budget. I'm hoping they made back their budget. Like Wind River. I don't know if you got to watch that, but I thought that was really well done. It's like original script by the guy who directed it, and same guy who wrote Sicario and Hell and High Water and stuff. Like, and it's his first movie directing. I thought that was fantastic, right? And it's like, but again, I don't think it didn't break any box office records. Especially for me, I had to wait. It came out, and I had to wait 3 weeks to be able to see it because it was only playing in one theater in all of Toronto.
Oh wow!
And like Toronto's supposed to be a film city. It's like we have a festival and everything.
TIFF.
Yeah, we have TIFF, and it's like it was only playing downtown. And then even when I finally did see it after 3 weeks, I had to go about 25 minutes away from my house to watch it in a specialized VIP theater where it was like you had to pay $10 extra to get in, and you could have alcohol and watch it, which was very cool.
Giddy up.
And then like 2 weeks later, then my theater by my house had it. So like a month after it had been fully released, it was being released in a regular theater. And I'm just like, and how is it supposed to make any money then? It's like,
well, I guess my point is, I'm dying to know what would happen if Inception were released now.
Yeah.
Because that was its own idea. Confusing as fuck if you saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Yet still dominated. So, like, are we just not into original ideas anymore? I mean, going back to it was a remake.
Yeah.
Let me see what.
Well, how did Valerian do? It flopped horribly.
Yeah,
right?
Flopped bad. Yeah. Which and it looked gorgeous. I haven't seen it. It looked really pretty.
And with all respects to our friend Brian Lomax, it's not a good film. He likes it.
Brian, I mean, there's stuff in it to like. Like, I love the whole interdimensional like shopping mall thing. That was dope.
Yeah,
like,
that was really cool. But a lot of the dialogue was cringy, and the plot was just like, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, all right, I guess. And then there were side missions, like a video game, where it's like, well, I need to get to him, but hold on, I got to go get this thing to put on my head, which will then tell me where to go. And then I did that, and then I got to go there, and it's just like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I love Luc Besson, but it's like,
I'm a fan of a lot of his work, but like, I just like make it a tighter script, and I would have been so much better. But like, it looked beautiful, it looked gorgeous. Like,
and I like that it was made because it was made. I mean, I guess STX, that company I was talking about earlier, was the distributor on it, so it was mostly funded like independently, not by like a big studio, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish it was better.
Exactly. It's like, why couldn't this been a better film?
So, excluding sequels, prequels, adaptations, cartoons,
remakes,
Dunkirk was number one
Okay,
for
yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hitman's Bodyguard was number one for 3 weeks in a soft August, and that's it.
Oh, wait. Does Split count? Or I guess it's a prequel.
Right,
Or is that a
right.
sequel?
You're right. Well, yeah.
I've heard that.
Technically, it's a prequel.
I've heard that it's a prequel to Unbroken.
It's like a side story to Unbreakable.
Okay. Oh yeah, Unbreakable. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Unbroken was the other one. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Get Out won a week in February.
Oh, Get Out. Okay, yeah,
Hidden Figures opened. That was probably all right. So excluding the soft months, it just remakes, sequels, sequels. Fate of the Furious, Boss Baby, cartoon. Alien Covenant 1 week. Ugh. Pirates 5, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Cars 3, Transformers 5, Despicable Me 3, Spider-Man, War for the Planet of the Apes, Dunkirk, Dark Tower, Annabelle 2. Go ahead.
Oh, Annabelle. I was about to say War of the Planet of the Apes is original, but I'm like, no, it's not.
It's the third film in a series. It's the third film of a remake trilogy.
I mean, it's original-ish, you know. Like it's its own thing.
It's a sequel and a prequel all at the same time. That's kind of original.
It's a pre-sequel remake of originality. Okay, like.
Jason Hamilton says, "I still have yet to see my friend Dahmer, and it's been out for a week or two now."
Dahmer.
Dude, if you have a theater near you that's playing it, go, because I meant to go see it last weekend. It's playing in 2 theaters in New York.
Wow.
Oh.
That's New York.
What is Dahmer? Like, I'm assuming it's about the guy.
Dude, if you go watch the trailer, it's Tyrell Listen, first of all.
Yeah.
The guy who's playing a young Dahmer is Tyrell Listen, first of all.
Literally?
Secondly,
or just
no, dude, it's a dead ringer for Tyrell with lighter hair. I'm telling you. No, it's.
Oh my god, he does look like him.
I could told you it's fucking him. I gotta. If you watch this in the future, I'm gonna have to throw an image up of Tyrell. I love you, Tyrell. It's not meant to be anything. It's just you.
No, it's good for you, dude. Like, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, just tell people you're in it.
Right.
It's the Jeffrey Dahmer prequel. It's him in high school. That's kind of what it is. It's his descent into madness, I guess. Like, they show him getting picked on in school, and if you know the Dahmer story, they make an allusion to his first kill in the trailer at the very least. So it's Hannibal Rising, the Jeffrey Dahmer version.
Oh wow, it's not good.
I'm not creating parallels. I'm just I'm creating parallels.
You parallel maker.
Yeah, but it does look good. I don't think it's going to get a wide release, but if you have a theater near you that's playing it, go.
I hadn't even heard of it. I'll try and check it out. That sounds dope.
Oh, you're in LA. You might have a couple more theaters, and you know what?
Playing everywhere.
It's probably going to do what the hell is that place? Where did I see Hateful Eight? There's a string of theaters that do really neat shit.
The Lemley? Or the Alamo?
The Alamo Draft House.
Yeah,
They'll probably have it.
Mm-hmm. I love the Alamo. The place is dope.
Yeah. It's a bit of an experience, which I guess is what movies need to be now.
Yes.
Like, it's not just let's go watch a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. The one by me, there's recliners and fried chicken, and that's good enough. I mean, that'll. What's that?
I saw the cheese string thingies. I was jealous.
It's at a point where I'm like, if I'm hungry enough, I'll teeter and just go, all right, well, I'll go watch this movie and have dinner. So they got me there. I just think that there's too much entertainment. Is that the way to put it? Like, movies aren't that big a deal anymore. Could that be it?
I don't know. I'm like, it's still a freaking huge. I don't know. It's annoying how little people care about things I love. It's just like the general public, like, I don't know. I think we've talked about it before. Netflix, like, all the stuff, like all the streaming services that are available right now. You got regular TV, which is trying to up their game.
Well, dude, Netflix is taking a bath. They reported that they lost money.
Yeah, but
it's like stop making everything. How about you slow down with all that production, guys?
They need to, but still, you got that. But they've lost money. But how much money are they taking away from Hollywood?
Oh,
at the same time, right? Like they're losing money, but they're also beating their competition because people would rather go watch Mindhunters than go see Justice League.
They might lose more on those Kevin Spacey lawsuits too, but
yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I don't. Lindsey, you're in the entertainment capital of the world. What
this is?
Yeah, are movies still that big? I mean, shit, you're in the business technically. Are movies still?
I mean, people are definitely still going to them, and depending on the movie in question. Like, I've been to a lot of Thursday night releases that are pretty full, but I mean, pretty full isn't full. Like the only two like actual full ones I've seen, I think, were Thor and Thor, Justice League, and It. I think those are like the only like fully full theaters I've seen in the last few months. I know that was the best sentence of my life right there. The fulliest full.
The fulliest.
So, and my restaurant is right next to a movie theater. And honestly, like the movie theater doesn't seem as busy as it used to.
Yeah, I was just going to say that when you said that, I remember there used to be like lines outside of doors and like just when I worked at the theater, we used to have to create more show times if they were selling out. Like I don't see that anymore.
The only lines I've been to that I had to stand in, I think this year was for Spider-Man.
Okay. And
that's partially because I wanted to see it not in 3D. Because it's like, it's an extra $3 a ticket and that's $12. It's like when you're taking people. And so like we purposely went to see the 2D one, which a lot of people did because they didn't want to spend the extra money too. And so like we had to literally line up for that, like ahead of time for one like thing to get a decent seat. But other than that, I don't remember the last time I really lined up for a movie. So,
I mean, like, I'm assuming like Star Wars, they'll be like the lobbies will be full all night long.
See, that's I'm intrigued to see what that does because if that I guess that's the barometer. How does Star Wars do? And then we can kind of say, okay, things are changing.
See if Star Wars comes out and makes 140.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa, it was expected to make fill in the blank. And like, and then people go, yeah, it was good. And like, that's going to be a big kind of like signpost. If it comes away, Star Wars made 220 million this week, then it's like, okay, maybe it's just certain movies aren't what people want and everyone wants Star Wars. I don't know.
But are Americans just too stupid to have smart, fun movies? Like Inception was everything. It was a good movie. It was big. It was loud.
Yeah.
Do we not deserve that? Is this our penance for our president?
Maybe.
It's a thing, right? Like you got the big cities where you have people who really want certain things, like certain cultured things, like really smart movies and stuff. And then you have just general Joe Blow public who just want to be entertained.
Yeah, robots throwing shit.
Yeah, they want robots throwing things at other robots. And it's just like, and then a film like Inception will come along every once in a while. Like I would say The Matrix is like that.
Coming up on 20 years, but go ahead.
When I was in the Matrix, when I saw The Matrix, I literally didn't know what the film was about. I didn't know if from the trailer, I was like, I didn't know if Keanu Reeves is a bad guy or not. Because I was so confused because they'd done a good job with the trailers of not giving away the plot that I was just like, I just need to see this movie.
Right.
As in in Inception, you're at the same way. You're like, I don't know exactly what it's about other than dreams and stuff. And it was so big and so awesome that you could get away with people just going, you know what, I'm willing just to check it out. But most of the time, people want to know a solid foundation of what am I watching? Am I going to be watching this? Oh, okay, that's what I want. That's what I can turn my brain off. I can go watch the robots kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the hype cycle, you know. Like we got this thing coming out. We need everyone to get excited about it.
Yeah.
But it gets to the point where you show too much, and then that kind of starts coloring things in a different way, and it changes the way that you need to present your movies and when you announce them, and then you need to go from the teaser of the teaser trailer and the teaser trailer 2, and then trailer 1, trailer 2, trailer 3.
Yeah.
So what's left at the end? But that's
yeah.
kind of.
I wish they'd stopped doing the Justice League trailers.
Yeah.
It was like, not another one. No, don't do it. It's like, please. Oh, they did it. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the Independence Day trailer, which a lot of people consider the greatest, or teaser, the greatest teaser ever, and it's Earth with a shadow over it.
Yeah.
And then the White House gets blown up.
Yeah, that's how it ends, right? And it's just hi, take my money.
Yeah.
Maybe less. I mean, shit. The Force Awakens teaser was kind of crazy, and then closed with that lightsaber. That was a lot for a lot of us.
That's all you need. Like, and look at Star Wars. They released a teaser, 2 trailers, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting crazy with the TV spots now, though. Unless,
I mean, that's funny. I don't really watch much TV. But,
oh, good point.
From what I hear, like, I mean, it's just me. Other people do.
But Joe Fartbag does.
Joe Fartbag loves TV.
Yes.
So Force Awakens made just shy of $248 million opening weekend.
Wow.
Less than that is going to be considered a failure.
Well, the following weekend it did 149 Christmas weekend.
Wow. So
first of all, it outdid every weekend so far this year.
Yeah.
Combined, every combined opening weekend in 2017, Force Awakens did better than it. So, I guess that's the gauge. I mean, there are certain factors that you could throw in there and be like, all right, well, it was kind of special and new, and we hadn't seen a Star Wars, and we thought we were done with that. And it might be a little different, but it's still Star Wars.
Yeah,
this is true.
200 million.
I don't know. I think like if the first one, like how much did Rogue One make its first weekend?
Oh, good question. That is a really good question.
That was, hey, this is something but guess what? There's no Luke in this one. There's no Han. It's going to be characters you really don't know, and that's a good sounding board for how much, like, because this is the continuation, but it's just
155.
Yeah, the second best December opening ever, actually.
Yeah, it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, so split the difference. If Last Jedi does what, 190, 200, that's kind of okay, par.
Well, it has to definitely make more than Rogue One made its opening weekend.
Sure, because people I don't get it. What?
It's got to be in between 180 and 2, or it would be considered underperforming, I think.
Yeah.
For how much they dumped into advertising this film, like you said, it's like, on TV, it's like it's all the time.
It's playing before every movie right now.
Yeah, it's every movie they're doing the trailer, and then like how many times have you seen stuff pop up on YouTube when you're viewing a video and it's like 7 seconds of Star Wars, and it's like just like they're hitting it across the board. So
there's just too much, though. I think maybe that's it too. Like there's too much of the there's too much of the shit that they expect everybody to see. Jason brought up my friend Dahmer. I think people should see 3 Billboards if and when it gets a major release.
I want to see that. That looks really good. Yeah. I really want to see that. It's just such a cool idea.
Yeah, it's if you had, I can't wait to see what Brian has to say about it, Peter, or both of you guys know Brian. Why am I doing that? Because it has more C words in the first 20 minutes than I think any movie in history.
Wow,
interesting.
And I loved it. It's darkly funny.
Okay.
And very realistic, and there's subtext. it's so like on the surface, it's a good movie, but then there's all this other shit about spite and it's just a good movie. It's just a really good movie. And 90% of the country's not going to hear about it and or see
ever see it, or never even going to cross anything they'll ever see,
right? Or even know the story that it's based on.
It's Nice Guys. It's
oh my God, Peter, good point. Why the fuck is Nice Guys just
not everyone know Nice Guys, and why didn't it become like $100 million movie its opening weekend? I showed up to Nice Guys. It's so funny. We got there 40 minutes early.
No shit, yeah.
On the Saturday night because we're like, it's going to be packed, and literally there was 30 people in the theater by the time it started, and we were just like, really? It's like, when you see the trailers for this movie, it's like that star power and that director, and it's like. And it did nothing. And it's just like, and there's still people who don't know it, who have no clue about it and stuff, so.
Right. Like the sad thing is like not everyone knows who Shane Black. That's what's
Shane Black, right?
Shane Black.
Yeah.
But most people, if you show them a picture of Russell Crowe or
Ryan Gosling,
Ryan Gosling, they would know them. It's like particularly Ryan Gosling lately. He's just been on like a roll of what he's been doing, so it should be an easy sell, but again, it didn't spark people's interest for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that movie twice, like once really early with and then on opening night it just broke my heart seeing that theater empty. Just
So you guys saw Justice League. Is it as disastrous as our circles are making it?
I mean, you could easily. It's a movie that you could easily just rip the ever-loving shit out of. But it's honestly like it's not worth it. It's just it's been so hacked to the bone that it's just bad guy wants space box, good guy stop bad guy.
Yeah,
and like I mean that's worth ripping just in of itself. But it's just. It's Avengers with more going on under the hood somehow. It's like if you want to rip it apart, you totally can, but I don't think it's worth it. I think it's just worth just saying, "Oh, that's fun."
It's I liked it a lot, and it does make me laugh that every time people go, "Well, they rushed it. They tried to get to Avengers, and you need to introduce these characters." Really? Did anyone know who Rocket Raccoon was? Nope. Anyone know who Groot was? Drax was? No. They were all characters that were brought together in one movie. They didn't have solo films, and they made a team. They didn't have any of the plot, and they worked fine. I think for most part, surprisingly, DC did a decent job of introducing you to who Cyborg is, who Flash is, and who Aquaman is in a movie that was still trying to save the world and not completely screw it up. I think it's entertaining still. And I think it could have been better. I think every Marvel movie I've seen in the last like 5 years could have been way better.
Yeah,
so
I'd say it's a case where like the good parts elevated enough to, I mean, not really make up for the bad parts, but to make you overlook the bad parts.
Yeah.
And again, like there's some stupid fucking shit. Like in Atlantis, they need to summon air bubbles so they can talk to each other.
No,
they can't talk underwater.
I think that was purely just so that he could walk around and they could film it easier.
Oh, no, totally. Like it was obviously just like because like and obviously like talking underwater CGI would probably look silly. Like it was them.
Yeah, I literally think that was for that reason only. But
but then like during the scene where it happened, like I was totally taken out because I'm like, do they have to do this for everything? Like if there's like a family squabble, do they have to summon a massive air bubble and all their neighbors know they're fighting because the house is surrounded by air? Like
from what I know, I don't think most people in Atlantis can do that. I think that's just her.
But again, they don't go into it.
Movie, you would have known that because you would have had his setup, and you'd be like, "Oh, okay."
No, you're totally right. Yeah,
it's one of those things. I'm like, I'm guessing it'll address that later on, and you'll be like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, they just talk.
But I completely agree. It's just distracting to suddenly, boom, and then they just move on with it, and then like the fact that I don't know. Like Steppenwolf had like 2 separate scenes where he's kind of talking about himself, but they like turned his audio down and the audio of stuff around him up.
Yeah.
So you have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's hard to hear you. Can you? Yeah, there are lots of faults in the movie, and as much as I love our friend Brian Lomax, I don't get how he gives it 5 because I just get it, and I like the movie a lot, but I don't get.
Yeah, we love Brian here. We love Brian.
Oh, sure.
I don't get how someone gives it 2. I like. It's like really 2. It was that bad that you gave it 2 out of 5. It's like, and when you look at what other 2 out of 5 movies some people give, it's like really you're comparing it to that because that's how I do.
Ice cream truck.
Yeah, it's to me if it's like, I'll be like, is it as good as this? Okay, well I gave that 4, so I got to give this 4.
Yeah, Resident Evil: The Final Chapter isn't shot well.
Yeah.
It's hard to make out the film.
Yeah.
Like that is, if you can't make it out, that's probably a bad start.
Also, it's not going to be the final chapter. I just need to throw that out there. Every time that movie is brought up, I just need to say it's not going to be the final chapter. Like,
you mean there was only 4 Friday the 13th?
Technically, the other ones were Friday the 14th.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's apparently going to be only one Halloween movie, so.
That's what John Carpenter says.
They're retro-counting all the rest out and just saying that never happened, but you know.
So, does the internet play? Yeah, does it play too much? Seriously, does it play too much into decision making and on both sides of the scale? I mean, go back to when Ghostbusters came out and people were buying out theaters just because of all the backlash, and why not just let the movie stand on its merit?
Yeah, it's actually funny that I've been wanting to talk to you about Ghostbusters CP because remember we did one of our old school little videos right after it came out, and I was like, "Oh, dude, no, this movie's great," and you're just like, "I mean, it is all right." I've watched that movie 2 more times since then. That movie is very hard to watch.
It is.
It is. Yeah. You were totally right, dude. Like, maybe it was because I saw it with a great audience in a sold-out theater, and I was the only person not in costume. Maybe that just swept me up.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, watching that movie like just at home, like it's hard.
I took that movie. I took my oldest daughter to see that movie, and my wife took my youngest daughter to see Secret Life of Pets.
Okay.
And I was like, I'll see it. And I came away and everyone's like, well, what'd you think? And I'm like, it's not bad enough that I can get angry about. It's
right, exactly.
I'm like, it's not good enough that I really have much to say, but it's not bad enough that I'm angry. And I love, like, I'm angry that they didn't do a great job with the franchise because I love it. It's one of my favorite things.
Of course.
But I didn't care that it was 4 women because you put 4 men with that script, it's still a bad movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's still not a good movie. So it's like, it has nothing to do with the fact that it was women. It had everything to do with that. I think it was a poorly made movie, but it wasn't poorly made enough that I really needed to kill it. Right. And it wasn't good enough that I needed to talk about it.
Yeah. It should have been a movie that just disappeared. It should have been an unnoteworthy, opens in third. It should have been Nice Guys. That's what it should have been.
Yes. That's a good way to put it. It's bad. Yeah.
Right. So on the flip side of that, we have stuff like Justice League where people are blah, 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 talking about it for months and months and months, getting all worked up. You get this news that we didn't have 10 years ago where there's trouble on the set, the reshoots, there's this, that, the other. And people just start building these opinions. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like, it can't be helpful, I guess, is the more information we have, the less good, is what I want to say. Going back to the whole Independence Day teaser thing, why not go to a movie just completely blind? No, not completely blind, but at least have the premise, and then that's it. Do we have too much information at this point?
I mean,
I was just looking when Twitter started. And Twitter started in 2006, but I don't think most people. Hold on, there's a dog barking.
Well, yeah. When did Trump turn his on? No.
It's an interesting question of like how much should people know going into a movie? Because there are definitely movies that it's better to know nothing, but then there are other movies that I feel like it's kind of important to know stuff. I mean, again, it's kind of a case-by-case thing.
But if you know that they were reshoots, what the fuck is that going to do for your film going experience? Like you wouldn't know heading in, like, oh yeah, you could totally tell that, you know, this is that and this. No, you can't. If nobody told you, you wouldn't know. How many movies? I mean, what's the classic? I want to say Wizard of Oz or something really old that there was reshoots or whatever their version of it was back then. And you know, if nobody told an average film viewer that they were reshoots, nobody would know.
Yeah.
Or they have to go back because somebody died. The Crow, they had to do things because Brandon Lee died. People didn't notice anything about that.
Well, I think it also depends on like, or what am I trying to say here? Because like most movies have reshoots. Like it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Big budget ones do at least, yeah.
Yeah. You know, like you think of another scene, you want to shoot it, or you didn't get everything you needed, so you have to go back and do it because you don't want to just fake it through editing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's like what's been interesting about a lot of the reshoot movies that get reported lately is just how much gets reshot. Like it's not just like going back and getting a couple of scenes. Like it's going back and doing like half the movie with Rogue One, Suicide Squad, and
a lot of it used to be a reshoot because the director was like, you know what, I had this idea and I think that would work, so I want to do this. Now reshoots are done after test audiences have watched the movie.
Fuck test audiences. That's another one.
And so like they show it to a test audience, and even sometimes when the test audience likes the film, they'll like one person in the test audience will say, I didn't like this, and they will literally make them change it. Like I don't know if you guys watch Good Bad Flicks, but he did a thing for Disturbing Behavior, which is a teen film with Katie Holmes and stuff about basically Stepford Wives, and he tells how like they had a completely different film and showed it to test audiences, and they all liked it except one person that literally went, well, I didn't like this, and they made him go back and change 20 minutes or whatever of the film, and then like reintroduce it, and the next test audience liked it, and then but one person said something, and then they changed it again, and then the third test audience didn't like the film, and they went, well, you know, we spent enough money on this, we better just release it as this. And it's
or they shelve them.
Or they shelve it and be like, we'll come back to it in a year. It's like, but it's just sitting there. It's like, you know, so this never happened in old school. It was like you had the producer be like, I don't like that, I like this, change that. And the director would be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to fight you, or I'll disagree, or I'll agree. And then it got changed and no one knew. But now it's like it's all on focus groups and test audiences and blah, blah, blah. Like Justice League was told, like, it was what, like almost 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that? And they were
nearly
told,
3 hours,
Yeah, and they were told, cut it to 2 hours. Has to be 2 hours. So it's like, and then you got people go, well, there wasn't as much character development. I'm like, I agree. It'd be hard to do if you're trying to cut out things that are like, you're cutting out minutes of film. What are you going to cut out? The big action scene, or are you going to cut out the growth stuff? What are you going to cut out?
I think Warner's just so fucking
I think that
frazzled.
Warner screwing DC. I think if DC was, I don't want DC films at Disney because Disney has their own thing of doing it, and they want it very cookie cutter, and that works for Marvel, and I'm fine with that. But I really wish like DC was under a different banner than Warner Brothers.
Yeah, DC needs somebody who loves DC as much as the folks over at Deadpool.
Yeah,
because they said, you know what, we're going to do it ourselves, and we're going to try to be as cheap as possible. And they made Deadpool, which destroyed. And of course it was for Fox. That fucking company got saved by something like that. So the money needs to they need to take the money out of it. Can you make a superhero movie without spending blank $100 million? Like,
look at Logan. I mean, like how what was the budget on that? Like, I think in just the $80 or $90 million range, and it was amazing and made a shitload of money. Like,
to further give a middle finger to Warner Brothers, there was
97 million. Sorry,
still under 100.
Right.
Never Hike Alone is a Friday the 13th fan film that was done for $17,000.
Yeah.
And I would say it's better than half the series. Warner Brothers and Paramount have been fighting over that franchise for just inside 10 years now.
Right.
And it's not that, especially with horror, it's not that hard. $17,000 in it, and it's a good looking movie, first of all. Secondly, I think there's just too much focus on stupid shit. Like, just how about make the movie good first?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but why make it good when you need to have your fan service and your setups for your sequels and your setup for the setups and the spin-offs? And
this is where I hate Marvel. Like, I really think Marvel fucked so much up because there never was planning in movies before. It was never, all right, so 3 years from now,
they just like, hey, here's money, go shoot this. And
yeah, it was just like, oh, we hope to make our money back. Now it's just like, oh, we're gonna have a cinematic universe, and then we're gonna have offshoots, and then this and this.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon and Die Hard were both films that were made, and they made good films. And then, of course, when they made money, they went, we can make sequels, and it was like
bigger.
and it was like, we'll do a bit bigger this time. It's like whatever. Okay, fine. You did sequels, right? They weren't trying to make cinematic universes where they went, okay, we got the first Die Hard, we're going to plan the next 6. And in this one, he's going to do this, which will then set up the 4th film. But it's like, it's like in Age of Ultron, Thor goes into the water at one point, has a vision that I still don't know what it has to do with anything.
I don't think they paid that off at all either.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's like, why did that happen? Because they thought they were going to tie it into something, but then they never did. And it was just like, well, that was pointless. It's like, but like once upon a time, films were made good. And if it was good enough, it got a sequel. If it was bad enough, it didn't.
Horror miser Monty brings up a good point. That killed the Mummy.
Yes,
good point.
So horribly killed the Mummy.
What are you doing putting Tom Cruise in a film called The Mummy? A, B, what do you call that movie? Because I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
See, why does Russell Crowe, who's younger than Tom Cruise, refer to Tom Cruise as if he's younger than him?
He's playing a character.
Well, true, but it's like Tom Cruise is 3 years older than Russell Crowe.
That's funny.
Somebody asked, Dennis, did Rogue One have drama due to reshoots too?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that so much as one of the trailers. Like, I think 90% of one of the trailers was not in the movie.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's the one with the money shot where the TIE fighter comes up on that walkway where she's.
Yeah.
Oh, why couldn't that just be in the movie? I don't care if it just didn't make sense, but beautiful shot. Like that kind of. There's too much. There's just too much.
And I'll admit that Rogue One was one where knowing stuff beforehand actually really did hurt my liking the movie. Because I knew that a lot of rewrites to the script were done by Christopher McQuarrie, who did like Rogue Nation, Mission Impossible. And then there's that scene in Rogue One where they're getting like the computer disk out of the thing with the arm that's like going up and down the thing. That's almost exactly like the scene in Rogue One and Rogue Nation where like the thing going. It's just like, oh, he's just right himself.
Here's the thing.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Computer disks.
Right.
That last half hour of Rogue One is incredible.
If it would have been Tarantino who wrote it, would have been a feet scene. They got to massage someone's feet. And,
To be fair, that's what Rogue One needed, was Darth Vader getting a foot rub.
Yes.
The 2 minutes towards the end where Darth Vader shows up and that's the best we've seen Darth Vader, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that is. It is.
In the hallway. Oh, that's porn as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
True, but it's also like such a weird scene because it's like, fascist dude killing people. Woo! Kill those freedom fighters.
Take him down.
Oppress those assholes. Oppress them.
Yeah. The poor slob on the ceiling, though, just
That made my jaw drop. All
oh, by the way, I forgot this one.
Yeah.
Luke says at least 80% of Superman scenes were reshot, which is kind of mental.
Oof, is
that a fact? 80%?
80%.
See, like, why do we know that? Why, like, I guarantee 25% of people, without having any information, wouldn't complain about things.
Yeah.
I think part of it is, I know this little thing about something that I've seen nothing of, so let me develop an opinion.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's hurting movies as a whole.
There's way too many movies as a whole. Not enough good ones, way too many. It's okay. I've been going back through my Letterboxd by year and doing lists for top movie of whatever. I'm back in like the 50s now, right? The amount of
why can't they make a good Rear Window?
Yeah, and they literally starts with like the most popular films and wanes its way down to ones I've never ever heard of. But trying to find the bottom of the list for the ones nowadays, I tried, I couldn't do it. Like I was scrolling down and it shows you the pictures and it's just like, I sat there trying and it took me an hour and I still wasn't finished. There are a lot of movies made every year now. Like I've made it in the 50s, took me 20 minutes and I got to the bottom of that list.
Dude, well, you think about it, in the 50s, it was what, one theater?
Yeah.
One theater showing one movie.
So many more theaters, so many more movies, so many more production companies, so many more countries. So it's like once upon a time it was just like America and France and they were trying, Now it's like there's just so much out there. And it's just so much is being made, and then you got so much vying for attention, and then you got all the rest of it, like the news cycle, the internet, Twitter, people leaking scripts, people, executives taking some guy who they doesn't know anything about a character and taking him being the gospel truth.
Yeah, there's something like Get Out should be a bit of a beacon of hope for some companies, because nobody really heard about Get Out, and it came out and people were like, holy shit, this thing's awesome, and then a bunch of people saw it.
Yeah. Now will people make good films based on that? I don't know. Like Deadpool was great, and then what did they take away from that? We can do R-rated movies and they still make money. It's like that's not the point. Like I'm glad Logan was R-rated, but that's like if that's what you took away from it, you're missing the point. He was R-rated because he had to be R-rated because it stayed true to the character.
Well, you know what? I'll half agree with you there, because you look at whatever that was rated R, and that is the closest thing to an 80s movie. It takes place in the 80s. Like you think about stuff like Stand By Me, the kids talked like
kids.
Not kids, not
they talk like teenagers that are together and not with parents.
Right, exactly. And it was fine. Like not since John Hughes have I seen somebody properly respect young teens the way the 2017 adaptation of It did. And so to a point, you're right, but to another point, how about respecting the audience a little bit? That, yeah, sure, people say fuck. Like that, you don't have to have, a fuck scene, just, language. They didn't, right? They didn't have a fuck scene.
No, they cut that from the book, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But it is interesting to note, like 2017 has kind of shattered a lot of like preconceptions about the film industry. Like R-rated movies can't make money. These superhero movies are going to flop and be terrible. 30-year after the fact sequels are automatically bad. Like it. So you know what I mean? Like we're kind of getting past all that.
It's been a terrible and exciting year for film.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see like what effect it has going forward, but I think it's going to be a noteworthy year just for like things like that.
Yeah.
For better or worse?
For both, probably. If it depends, we see what this year kicks off for next year and the year after that, and if it helped people learn, then this year was worth it. But if people aren't going to learn, then it's going to just keep on going downhill. Right. And movies like Blade Runner will still be made, but will also go unseen, which is freaking travesty. Yeah, such a good film.
Alien Covenant.
Oh.
So
I said some 30 year after the fact sequel.
well, I mean, they have to, like, my thing is I want them to stop planning, because there's these things that people in, like, I'm trying to think of another movie that was supposed to be setting something up but never got its sequel. I mean,
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Right? That's a good one. But like, you're kind of ripping these people off where you're like, all right, well, here's the beginning of this saga. Oh, it didn't make enough. Never mind. Well, what the fuck? You're storytellers. You're not. They're forgetting the storytelling part. It's not free money. You have to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's the thing. But they're already planning like, if they know something's going to be like Star Wars, they know it's going to be a success until it's not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can just plan whatever they want for as long as they want. And like, I'm sure there's someone at Disney who's just like, 10 years from now, we're going to do this. You know?
They probably have the next.
I think they did that already.
Yeah, like they're already like 10 years ahead from now. Like, they already have ideas on what that's going to be. And, it's just.
Well, that's what the Rian Johnson trilogy is, basically, right? Like, it's not going to come out until 2022, 25. Like,
which one?
The Rian Johnson trilogy. That's going to come out after.
Yeah. There's a new set of Star Wars that
Star Wars
exclusively Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
That's after Han Solo, after Obi-Wan. Yeah. I used to like the fact that if I died tomorrow, at that moment, this is like going back 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, at least I saw the Star Wars. I'm not that confident anymore that if I die tomorrow, well, I know now, if I die tomorrow, I wouldn't have seen all the Star Wars. I think they're just going to keep making Star Wars.
They are. They paid $4 billion for the franchise. They're just going to milk it for everything.
But I want the complete story. I don't want some sort of thing happening after I leave this mortal coil.
Yeah.
That's a selfishness.
And then, you know what? When it's all said and done, 25 years from now, they'll be like, we're remaking A New Hope.
Again.
Again. And again.
So we kind of hit our time.
Hour and a half. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your surprise movie of the year and your disappointment of the year. It could be financially or just in general.
Hold on. Let me look.
I was surprised how much I liked Wonder Woman, honestly. Like, I thought it was just going to be just another DC movie, but I actually really, really liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointment? I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think of one that was like, I wanted to be like, oh, this is going to be great, and I walked out, and it was just kind of,
Yeah, I'm trying to find
Alien Covenant, like.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I really think it's unfair that Fassbender's just going to get steamrolled.
Yeah,
he was so good in that movie.
And I did like it, but like it just, it just didn't sit well.
Any of its faults were not his fault. So
exactly. Yeah.
Right. His fault.
He was awesome. For me, the biggest surprise of the year was that Power Rangers did not completely blow.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw it for work. I didn't pay any money to see it, but I saw it, and I was expecting it to be like, well, this is going to be work. I'm going to have 2 hours of, and it was surprisingly fun. It was the Breakfast Club meets Power Rangers meets, like, not a bad movie. It wasn't great, but it was fun, and I was like, it wasn't bad. That was.
I'll take a sequel to that in a heartbeat. Like, honestly,
they're gonna do that, and I'm just like, that was shockingly not bad. My biggest disappointment of the year was Guardians of the Galaxy 2, because it, to me, had a huge drop off from the first one.
Yeah, that's another good one.
I think it was like as much fun as it was, because that's what Marvel is fun. It was the script was just paper thin.
Yeah,
it just like It finished.
All the jokes are too milked.
That was it. It's like so.
I feel you on that one a lot, actually.
Yeah, I was like, yes, I'm gonna, and like, and I saw that one for work too, and then came out of it going, maybe I got busy doing something, and I saw it the next day again with my daughters, and I was just like, nope, it disappointed me. So,
we got the shot line, Peter. It took you long enough, but we got one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the most surprising, and for a myriad of reasons, Blade Runner. Yeah, I didn't expect it to be holy fuck.
Yeah,
and it was holy fuck.
For most surprising, because it's so good.
It has yet to make 100 million in the States. So
that's so sad.
Yeah, that's another reason why it's just like what, and disappointment.
It's weird, like, because there's so much not great. It's hard to choose the one that's really the most disappointing.
Right. I'm disappointed that 50 Shades keeps making money.
Keeps making movies and making money.
Have either of you seen the trailer for 50 Shades Freed?
No.
Oh, so bad.
I refuse to watch it.
Well, listen, I have no choice. I think I had to see it when I saw and that was the funny thing. I was in on Murder on the Orient Express. I'm like, why the fuck is this trailer in front of Murder on the Orient Express? And it just looks abysmal, like really bad. They get married right off the bat, and there's
wow.
It's a Hallmark commercial for a good 80%, and then there's a twist. Some guy's chasing. I don't know. But the fact that
born for a minute for some reason, like
so 50 Shades Darker is at 114.
Wow.
Blade Runner 2049 is at 89.
Ugh.
So there's movie making 2017.
That's sad. There.
Yeah. Thanks for depressing me, CP.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Well, at least they canceled these stupid urgent movies.
Oh god, yeah. Now it's gonna be a TV show.
Well, Shailene Woodley said, nope, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, she's like,
they're just gonna get discount Shailene Woodley now. So
yeah. Guys, anything coming up on your channels you want to plug before we say adieu?
Actually, yeah, I am literally editing, not while we were doing this, but it's sitting there waiting to be finished. EMG Radio, which I started earlier today, and my first one in a couple weeks because of being away. So look for that tonight, maybe.
Woohoo!
A Stranger Things season 2 video should finally get out relatively soon here, so I'm gonna try and get that going.
Exciting. And Emily and I are going to watch the Shane Dawson directed Not Cool and the counterpart Holidaysburg. They're two movies that have the same exact script.
You plugged that.
Yeah, there was a reality show that had what they did was they took one script and they gave it to two different filmmakers.
Yeah.
And Shane Dawson did a very Shane Dawson version of the film, and this girl who made a decent movie just got forgotten. So we're going to watch them and cover them, hopefully in time for Thanksgiving.
Cool.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And maybe we'll get back together again post Star Wars, pre Star Wars.
For Star Wars, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm always down. Just hit me up, man. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. All right. So until next time, America, China. Say goodbye, everybody.
Everyone else can go to hell. Just America, China.
Goodbye, China.